What's going on, gun family? Urban Gun Reviews, and today on the channel I will be doing my first shots and my review on the Glock 44. Let's see if it's worth the money. Alright, so before we get into this review, I'm just going to tell you a few things about the Glock 44 that you may or may not know. Alright, the Glock 44, what I paid for was $369 at my local gun store, Justin's Gun Shop in Washington, Pennsylvania. Now, the price may vary depending on where you get it from. And the Glock 44 is chambered in .22 caliber. It comes with two 10-round magazines that have the mag assist tabs on them. Now, we all know that 10-round magazines for a .22 caliber is not a lot, and you'll be doing a lot of reloading with those two magazines. So I went on to dkfirearms.com and I bought 3 additional magazines, 10-round magazines with the assist tab, official Glock magazines. Being that we have the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic going on right now, orders are pressed back a little bit, so it might take a little while for me to actually get those magazines. But my footage with my review was done with the 2 magazines that the Glock 44 actually came with. The Glock 44 also comes with the extra back straps, which most Glocks come with. It has the Gen 5 design. It comes with the lock, so you can lock up the firearm if you need to. It also comes with the barrel brush and all of that stuff. You know, the typical Glock stuff. So let's jump into this review and let's figure out if the Glock 44 is worth buying or the Glock 44 is worth saying bye to. The slide on the Glock 44 is a hybrid mixture of polymer and steel. The slide is mainly polymer, but it has steel rails so that it could cycle the 22 rounds. Now you ask, why is it mainly polymer? It's mainly polymer because the slide would be too heavy to cycle the 22 round if it was all steel. And if it was all polymer and it didn't have the steel rails and it was a polymer rail, the slide probably wouldn't last that long firing off the 22 rounds if you put a lot of work in with the Glock 44. You see, the Glock 44 has front and rear cocking serrations. So if you want to do press checks, you can do that. If you wanted to, rack it from the rear, you could do that. We have the Glock safe action trigger. We got your takedown lever, which is on both sides. You have to pull both of those, and we'll take it apart in a minute and I'll show you how to do that. You have your slide catch, which is ambidextrous, so it's on both sides. And you also have your mag release button, which is reversible. You see it's on both sides. You have a U-dot sight on the Glock 44. And you got the U-notch in the back with the white dot in the front. These rear sights are adjustable, so if they're not on target to where you actually like it, you can change those. And I think you can change them out with any Glock 19 sight as well. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is the case. The Glock 44 has a Glock marksman barrel, and we'll check that out. And if you haven't noticed by now, when this gun looks pretty familiar, it's probably because its size is based off of the Glock 19, and it is actually the same size as the Glock 19. Height, in length and everything. The only thing that would be different is the loaded weight, because you have different ammunition, different size calibers, which would change the weight in the firearm. Now let's check the trigger pull with the Lyman trigger pull gauge. So we're gonna check that real quick. 5 pounds, 8.7 ounces. It's 7.2 inches in overall length. It has a 6.85 slat length. It has a 1.26 inches overall width. It has a 1 inch slat width. It also is 5.04 inches in overall height. Now the weight without the mag is 12.63 ounces. The weight with an empty mag is 14.64 ounces. And the weight with a loaded mag is 16.40 ounces. All right, so I watched a lot of videos on the Glock 44 before I actually went out and bought it. I really wanted it for a couple different reasons. I wanted it because the size was the same as the Glock 19, which would make it easier to train with. And the rounds for 22 calibers are obviously a lot less expensive. Also, I bought it because my youngest son, my 12-year-old, about to be 13-year-old, really wanted to go shooting. I didn't really want to start him off with the a 9mm, and 9mm rounds for training could be kind of expensive as well. And if you're saying, well, why didn't you try 380? I didn't try 380 because 380 rounds are actually more expensive than 9mm rounds. So what would be the better round to train with rather than the 22 caliber? And being that I didn't have a 22 caliber handgun already, so I had a couple different options. It was the Taurus TX22, I believe, and the Glock 19. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, the Glock 44. Messed that one up. Don't get me wrong, though. There's other options out there. I'm not saying that. But these are the two that I narrowed it down to. So, like I said, I watched a whole bunch of videos on the Glock 44, and I was seeing a lot of people say that they were having failures. A lot of people, when I was watching the video, were having failures. Failure to feeds, failure to eject. The magazine wasn't loading properly, and the rounds were nosediving. Just a whole bunch of issues, you know what I mean? And I talked to a friend of mine, Guns and Code, on Instagram. Look him up. You know what I mean? I was talking to him because he has the Glock 44, and I asked him if he had any problems with it. And he said, nah, he didn't have any problems with it. He sent me some video, you know what I mean? And he didn't have any problems with it. So I was like, well, did you clean it before you went out and shot it? And he was like, definitely. He's like, I definitely went out and cleaned it before I took it to the range or took it out, and shot it. So in my mind, I was hesitant on the purchase, but like I said, I was like, I really want this gun. I really want to try it out. I really want to buy it for my son. So I went out and bought it. Now, I have never, I repeat, never bought a gun and cleaned it before I shot it. All right, I never bought a handgun and cleaned it before I shot it. Some people do. I don't. And the reason that I actually did with the Glock 44 is because I wanted the Glock 44 to be successful, and I seen people were having mad problems with it, you know what I mean, just taking it straight out the box. And I was like, I don't want to be there at the range and spend most of my time clearing misfires and stuff like that, because that's no way to train my son on how to shoot a gun, is having to clear misfires the whole time that we're there. So I cleaned it out, you know what I mean. I used the gun cleaners, lube and solvent. I cleaned out all the Glock gunk and stuff that they put in it to preserve it or whatever, you know what I mean. I cleaned all that stuff out, and I did it the way I normally would clean my gun. And we went to the range, and we spent about probably almost 3 hours at the range. Now, we shot 920 rounds, and that's give or take a few, but my calculations, if they're serving me right, it was 920 rounds. I like to keep a round count while I'm at the range. We shot 400 rounds of CCI mini mag, 200 long rifle copper, round nose, 40 grain ammunition. We shot 400 rounds of that, and that ran pretty flawlessly, and I didn't have any issues with that. We also shot 200 rounds of Federal Champion 40 grain solid 1240 feet per second ammunition. Didn't really have any problems with that. Now lastly, I shot about 320 rounds of some old 22 ammo that I got from my grandfather. And this ammo, I guarantee you, no lie, is at least 10 years old. At least. Because I've had it for maybe the last four or 5 years. I've had it that long. And he had it way longer than that. So I'm saying at least 10 years old. This ammo that we had, I had a bag full of ammo that we used. So, you know, a couple different types of ammo. I think they were mostly 40 grain, maybe 38 in there every now and again. You know what I mean? And maybe even some 36 in the bag. So a bunch of different type of ammos and grains. Well, a couple, I wouldn't say a bunch, but we shot different ammos and grains. And out of everything, I think I had 2 stove pipes, and they were both with the older ammo. So that could have just been an issue with it not cycling properly because of the old ammo and being weak. And one of those stove pipes was my son actually shooting with his non-dominant hand, one-handed. So that could have actually contributed to it as well. We had one non-fire, which is like Max says, click no bang. We had one of those, and that was also with old ammunition. And we had one light primer strike. But with that light primer strike round, we put it in the next magazine and it fired with no problem. So it could have just been a user error rather than a gun error. So like I said, a lot of people was having issues with this gun, and I contributed to either light grain ammo, which, like I said, I didn't have that problem with. But I think the biggest problem was not cleaning the gun before they took it out. And like I said, I've never done that before. So, and I wanted this gun to succeed, and I was willing to do whatever I had to do to get this gun to where I wanted it to be, to make this a fun experience for me and my son. You know, that father-son bonding time. So this was big. So cleaning it, only having 3-4 issues with it the whole time out of 920 rounds, I'll take that any day. You know what I mean? That's a great day at the range. Now, to get into the pros and the cons portion of the video, which is basically the buy section of the video that I like to do. So my cons of the Glock 44 would definitely be the price. $369 for a Glock 44 that is a 22 caliber is kind of expensive. I would want to drop it down to 300, 320 maybe, you know what I mean? But 369, and I think I've even seen it as high as like 4 and some change. So if you're paying 4 and some change, you might want to, you know, price check somewhere else, and you might be able to get it for a lot cheaper than that. But price is definitely a big issue with the Glock 44, so definitely look around before you spend a lot of bread on the Glock 44. My second con would be the 10-round magazines. Now, the Taurus TX 22, I believe, holds 16 rounds, 15 or 16. So I'm like, in a Glock 44 shooting 22 caliber, you can definitely get more than 10 rounds in those magazines. So I would definitely expect, hopefully, Glock will come out with larger capacity magazines for the Glock 44. It would make it a lot better shooting experience. And I was kind of upset that they didn't, being that they don't even have them out, but they couldn't have included them with the Glock 44 because, to my knowledge, they're not even out. Another con that I have is that it only comes with 2 magazines. You know, I think that it could at least come with 3 or 4 magazines, especially, you know, being it's 22 caliber, you're shooting, you know, with these 10-round magazines that, you know, bow, 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 and you're done, it feels like. You know what I mean? So if you add 2 more magazines to the case, being that you're shipping them and sending them with 2 10-round magazines. Add a couple more, and I think it would be a lot more respectable to the people that's actually buying your products. And last but not least, my last con about the Glock 44 is that Glock states in their manual that it will fire most ammunition. And well, they say all ammunition or something along those lines. I'm not saying it verbatim, but they said that it will fire all of this ammunition. They said they fired, what was it, 1 million rounds? I could be exaggerating with that number, but they fired a whole lot of rounds through this gun. Now, you can't tell me that you fired X amount of rounds through this gun and it can't properly cycle 36 grain and 32 grain, 33 grain, or whatever, ammunition. If you fired 1 million rounds through this gun and you're saying it can fire all of these rounds, then it should be able to fire all of these rounds. You shouldn't have to buy specific ammo, 40 grain ammo, which could be a more expensive than the cheaper, the smaller grain ammunition that you would buy for a 22 caliber. The reason people buy 22 calibers is to practice with. So I don't want to spend excess money on ammunition for a gun that I just want to practice with. I want to, go out and get my 500 rounds for 30 bucks, you know what I mean, and be good. I'm good with that. I don't want to have to spend $50, $60 for 500 rounds of 22 caliber. So Glock, change the wording up. Fix your gun to where it fires everything. And I'm not saying that all guns aren't finicky when it comes to certain ammo. We all know this. There's some ammo that's dirtier than other ammo. We all know the 22 caliber ammo is very dirty. All I'm saying is you can't put out the statement that your gun will fire X, Y, Z and it only fires X and Y. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's get into the pros section of the review. And one of my biggest pros of this gun is that it's the same size as the Glock 19, which makes it easier to transition from the 44 to the 19 for that first shooter experience, or someone who's just learning, or somebody who just wants to practice shooting, a gun. You don't always want to have to go spend $300 on, 9mm rounds, 9mm ammo, to go practice, So if you can shoot the 22, the Glock 44, if you can take that out, shoot that, and have the same frame and the same, slide and everything size-wise with the Glock 19, then it shouldn't be that hard to transition, Of course, the recoil is not going to be the same. Of course, little things won't be the same, but the meat and potatoes of the firearm's going to be the same. The whole experience is just going to be the same, which is going to make it an easier transition from the Glock 44 to the Glock 19. Another pro of mine is that the Glock 44 will fit the same holsters as the Glock 19. So if you already got a Glock 19 and you're thinking about, hey, I want to carry the Glock 44 around, then don't rush out to go buy new holsters. Use the same holsters from your Glock from your Glock 19 that you can use with your Glock 44. So I gotta give Glock the thumbs up on that one, because that saving the people who's buying your firearms a couple dollars by making those interchangeable. Good job. Another pro of the Glock 44 is that it's just a really smooth shooter. Like, I let my son shoot it. He shot probably more rounds than I did, just because I wanted him to have fun and I wanted him to really get a feel for the Glock 44. And he had no problem with it. Like, he loved it. He just wanted to keep shooting all day, actually. And when I let him shoot my SIG P365, which is chambered in 9mm, he shot 15 rounds of that, and he was like, I don't like that, So it really was, just a really smooth shooter. And for a first time, well, he's not really a first time shooter, but somebody really new and kind of introducing them to firearms, it's a really good introduction to firearms, is to have something that's really easy to shoot. And my last pro for the Glock 44 is that it's just a fun and easy gun to learn. You know, Glocks field strip the same way, and the Glock 44 is no different. It's really easy to field strip, and you know, if you watch a couple videos that I did a while back, or a video that I did a while back, my son, who I believe was 11 at the time, maybe he was 12, but he might have been 11. We did a video with him field stripping a Glock 43, I believe, and you know, it's the same process. It's really easy to field strip, so I believe that, you know, the easier to field strip a gun makes it more reliable, in my opinion, because if you ever are in a defensive situation and, you know, you have to field strip your gun real quick to get it back together, it's not, you don't have to push out pins and do all of this. It's a couple quick movements, boom, bang, ping, and your gun is taken apart, and then ping, pam, boom, you put it back together, and you can do what you got to do. And I had the opportunity to buy this gun again. Would I make that purchase, knowing what I know now? And my answer is I would absolutely buy this gun again, just because I had so much fun with it. To put 900 rounds through a gun in one setting, you know, in 2.5, 3 hours, with only 2 magazines, 10 rounds apiece. I mean, it's just got to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, as far as fatigue, there was no fatigue. My arm didn't hurt. I didn't have to wear gloves. It wasn't like a pain to shoot. It's definitely a range gun. You know what I mean? Your grip around that frame is going to be the same. So it's not that big a learning curve from the 44 to the 19, which in my opinion is definitely a good move. Even for me, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't consider myself, you know, a novice or, you know, one of the most skilled shooters in the world or anything like that. But I know a little bit about guns, and it's a really fun gun for me to shoot. And I'm glad that I was able to share that experience with my son and shoot, you know what I mean, the Glock 44, and him to have the same type of joy that I got out of it, you know what I mean? But I get joy from shooting any handgun, really. But like I said, to share this experience with him, I would definitely say that's a plus. So for me, the Glock 44 is a go, and I would definitely buy it. So put that money on it, grab you a Glock 44, and you know, definitely go out and plank and do what you want to. Train your people, train yourself. You know, you can spend a few dollars and get a whole bunch of rounds, you know what I mean, and have fun. I definitely recommend you clean it before you take it out. I really, if I happen to, I might just buy my son a Glock 44. I might just get another one and just buy it for him. And then if I do end up getting a second one, I won't clean it before I take it out. And I'll see if I have the same type of success that I had with this one, with that one. But that's another video, you know what I mean? But it's Urban Gun Reviews. If this video helped you in any type of way, let me know by clicking the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you can do that easily by clicking on the AR-15 in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're not following me on all my social media sites, all you got to do is go in the description, click all of those links, follow me on all of my social media sites. Also, follow me on gunstreamer.com if you're not following me on there. And remember, stay blessed, stay strapped. There you go.